and groundbreaking for the gaming giant, with Nintendo debuting new titles in some of their core franchises that have been out of this world. So today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 best Nintendo Switch games of 2018. And trust us, choosing was no easy feat. Several games on this list are Nintendo exclusives, while others are big indie titles that have made our jaws drop. So with that in mind, let's get to it. And at number 10, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Give it up for Toad! Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a puzzle adventure game that offers hours and hours of fun, thanks to well thought out level designs and charming characters. Treasure Tracker is a game that flailed on the Wii U, but in classic Nintendo fashion, the company learnt from its mistakes and really came through with Treasure Tracker on the Switch, making it a relaxing yet challenging game that appeals to all ages. Up next at 9, Octopath Traveler. Octopath Traveler was one of the first RPG games for the Switch outside of their core franchises, and oh boy did it deliver. A JRPG, the title often finds itself in the pitfalls of that genre, but still manages to entice players with its 8 parallel stories and 8 intriguing playable characters. Perhaps its most groundbreaking element though is its mechanics, specifically its break and boost features, which convert boss battles into long-form puzzles for players to tackle, making the game more challenging in a unique way that hasn't really been done before. Plus, the score? Oh my. So darn good. And at number 8, Mario Tennis Aces. Who'da thunk a tennis game could be this darn good? Well, leave it to Nintendo. Mario Tennis Aces might not be your cup of tea if you're looking for a game with a well thought out narrative, but what it provides in terms of local multiplayer is stellar at best. It's also a new way to look at tennis, since a lot of the gameplay pulls from what feels like fighting game mechanics, giving it an interesting flavor. While the game has been criticized for a lack of roster balance, knowing Nintendo, wouldn't be surprising if the game has DLCs coming down the pipeline to help buff and nerf certain characters. But hey, at least for now, Waluigi can be the best at something. Bless him. And at number 7, Gris. Gris is a crazy beautiful game that feels a whole lot like Journey. The protagonist of the game loses her voice at its start, and sets out on a journey to reclaim it. Similar to Journey, it's a game that doesn't have any dialogue, and not a whole lot of instruction, all of which makes it much more enthralling and mesmerizing. It's not a game with combat either, rather it's about grief and self-discovery, and feels a little like an interactive animated film with its beautiful watercolor artwork. It's arguably one of the most stunning games to have come out of this year. Up next at 6, Nintendo Labo. The Nintendo Labo is quite revolutionary. It's a really neat way to play, aside from being kind of a gimmick, and lets players use cardboard creations to turn their Joy-Con controllers into much more. Pairing the virtual and the physical together, Nintendo Labo manages to make video game peripherals relevant again. The downside? Well, it's a bit pricey if you want to collect a bunch of the different Nintendo Labo creations, but that being said, it definitely provides a ton of fun, with part of that fun being the creation of your cardboard pieces, and the imagination that goes into this outside-the-box concept. Up next at 5, Donut County. Donut County is one of a handful of games on our list that isn't a Switch exclusive, but it definitely excels on the platform. Taking place in a world filled with anthropomorphic animal characters, you discover that your pal at the local donut shop you work at is responsible for opening up holes in the ground, thanks to an obsession with a mobile app, causing you and other members of Donut County to fall 999 feet below the surface of the earth. Its gameplay premise is simple. You move a hole in the ground around to swallow objects, making your hole increase in size, something that many critics have called incredibly therapeutic and enthralling, despite its minimalist concept. Moving on to number 4, Super Mario Party. Super Mario Party is another one of Nintendo's exclusive properties that has been around the block many a time. This game though, the first in the series released for the Switch, really improved upon its past mishaps and failings, to provide a game that really makes couch co-op a blast. Filled to the brim with exciting minigames, compelling game boards, and all of the Mario characters that we've come to know and love, its replayability is astonishing, and makes for one hell of a solid party fixture whenever you have guests over. Plus, it's just as fun on the go, something that really makes use of the capabilities of the Switch, and ultimately, it makes it shine. And at number 3, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. The Pokemon franchise is one with a long history, and plenty of generations of new Pokemon that have sprung up over the years. The core RPG games have always operated on a similar formula, with improvements in graphics, new mechanics, and new Pokemon always being added to the mix. But Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is a series overhaul of sorts. A revamp of Pokemon Yellow, the game introduces brand new mechanics pulled from the widely popular Pokemon Go, and mixes them in with a new way to grind in order to train your Pokemon and become the very best. It's refreshing, and while it only focuses on Generation 1 Pokemon, this new format is something that many are hoping will eventually be adapted into revamping Pokemon Gold and Silver with Gen 2 Pokemon. Overall, for gamers who have played multiple of the Pokemon RPG titles, Let's Go provides a fresh and exciting new take to a storyline that has been repeated time and time again, and makes it really fun. Up next, number 2, Celeste. Celeste was the only indie game nominated for Game of the Year at the 2018 Game Awards, and while it was beaten out by alongside God of War, it did manage to go home with Best Indie Game of the Year, which was very well deserved. A platforming title, Celeste is a Canadian game that was initially crafted up during a game jam, but ended up taking a whole new life. It follows a young woman named Madeline who climbs up Celeste Mountain, ignoring warnings from the people who live nearby. After climbing, she has a dream, a dark reflection of herself, that attempts to stop her from climbing the mountain. The game also won the award for Games for Impact at the 2018 Games Awards, with the title exploring mental health and having received a great response from players who struggled and empathized with many of the things that Madeline encounters and deals with in the narrative. And finally, and at number 1, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is by far the most detailed and upgraded of Nintendo's core franchise games to date, and detail is key. That's what makes Smash Bros. Ultimate so darn good. Not only does it provide a comprehensive gameplay experience with every single character that has ever been a fighter in the series available to play, but it also has improved upon every one of those characters, along with all the other mechanics in the game in order to provide a seamless and entertaining experience. Talk about listening to feedback. It's perhaps the biggest crossover title to have ever existed, and even introduces more new characters into the fray, with the promise of additional ones coming out in DLCs lined up until 2020. There's even a campaign mode that manages to have a pretty decent story, something that previous Smash games have always struggled with. All in all, the fighting game has received universal acclaim, with critics praising it for its improved gameplay, larger cast, stages, options, soundtrack, and much more, with one critic even noting that the game brilliantly mixed gargantuan content with nostalgia. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. Alright, there we have it friends, which of these titles is your favorite? What other games for the Switch that were released this year did we miss out on our list? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know all of your thoughts. If you dug this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and be sure to take a look at the playlists we currently have flashing on your screen for more best of lists of 2018. In the meantime though, thanks for watching guys, I'll catch you all in the next video.